Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I gotta say is, who that? Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, and yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Just give me 1 second, Who Dat Nation. I'm actually trying to connect on Twitter. Unfortunately, yet again, somebody tried to hack into my account yet again, and I had to call right into Twitter yet again. It's getting absolutely frustrating right now, but I appreciate people for letting me know about it. Man, but anyway, this episode is dedicated to you, man. This is a episode where anything goes, man. We can talk about any topic you want to talk about pertaining to your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. As we know right now, the New Orleans Saints are 1-5, and their next game is against the Chicago Bears. Big time matchup. I'm pretty sure if you are an NFL fan, you watch the Chicago Bears be able to rally back and knock off the Washington Commanders by a field goal in a really good game. I mean, by the offense, especially DeAndre Swift, the running back. So, the New Orleans Saints have a tough task. And of course, Dennis Allen is the defensive coordinator, a guy that knows a lot of the Saints players really well. But I do want to take this moment to mention a sponsor here of the State of the Saints podcast, and that is MyBookie. All right, MyBookie is the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast throughout the 2025 season. And yes, I use MyBookie quite a bit when I'm placing bets on different games. Rather it's the New Orleans Saints game, rather it's another team like the Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills, and it's very easy to use the app and also the website. And also there's an opportunity. If you can bet up to $500, you can actually get a $500 buy-in option. All you have to do is use the promo code Saints. That's promo code Saints. You bet up to $500 and you can bet freely because you can get that money right back, right? Spend a check and get it right back. All you have to do is go to the MyBookie app and download it and use that promo code Saints. That's promo code Saints. I'm not even going to waste any time, man. I'm just going to go ahead and read some of these comments. Like I said, you all feel free to put your comments in the chat. Shouts out to everybody that came over from the NFC South roundtable. We had a really good time over there. If you're watching this live on a Tuesday night, we just finished wrapping that up, and it was a really good show. The New Orleans Saints were the only team in the NFC South this past weekend that didn't win a football game. That's kind of weird, but at the end of the day, the New Orleans Saints are what they are at this point. I don't lose any sleep thinking about the New Orleans Saints. I mean, I know people want me to be upset and mad that other teams are thriving, but I'm really not, man. I'm just looking at the New Orleans Saints and hoping that they're actually setting up some building blocks so we don't have to go through this year after year. And what I'm seeing from the New Orleans Saints, it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. I think that they're trending in the right direction. You just have to learn how to win. I mentioned on the roundtable, the Saints kind of remind me of the Detroit Lions the first year when Dan Campbell got there. They were losing a lot of football games because they were in a process of a rebuild, right? They were trying to get their team going in the right direction. And Dan Campbell got those guys steered in the right direction, and they were able to find success. I think that Kellen Moore is the right guy for the job. I think that the Saints are, playing for him. I think that he puts them in the right position to succeed and be there in the end. And this season, I think that's all you can really ask for. But it's going to be an uphill battle for the Saints. That's why I'm telling Saints fans, look, you got to be able to just be able to weather the storm. I know that a lot of you that's probably watching these shows aren't used to the Saints being in the basement, being a team that is struggling to try to find their way. But when you mismanage the cap like Mickey Loomis has done, when you have been delusional about your football team, this is where you are. And, I just think that the Saints have the right stuff. I believe in Spencer Rattler. I think that the Saints need to just put some players around him and understand where they are as a team. Other than that, I mean, I'm just looking at it week to week and finding bright spots in this team. And I just think that everybody just needs to follow suit. Like looking at this team like it was a playoff team or a contending team, I just think that was wishful thinking. But we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start at the top. It says, I know AK wants to stay, but normally because it's business, he would get traded anyway. Is this bad logic? No, it's not bad logic at all. I think that it's absolutely ridiculous, if you ask me, that Mickey Loomis went to Alvin Kamara and even asked him that. Like, look, man, that's the problem that I have with some of these Saints fans out here. Like, they just love these players. They marry these players, and oh man, you can't talk like that. They shouldn't get rid of this guy. Oh, he's been here for a long time. Like, who cares? Like, who cares, man? Like not the fact that you don't care about them for what they have done within a franchise. I'm saying who cares when it comes to the business aspect of it. If this player can give you some value in like by trading him, getting a return on investment, when you know that your team needs to have an overhaul, you need to do what you got to do. This is what the New Orleans Saints issue has been, in my opinion, way too buddy, way too family oriented. And this is the reason why I think they need to get a little bit of a facelift when it comes to the front office. Get Mickey Loomis out of here with these emotional decisions and look at a guy to come in that will give you a business side of football that you see most teams that find success do. So, no, I understand your logic, and your logic makes perfect sense to me. This is a must win for me. I don't think it's a must win at all because, look, a must win is like you actually, building for something. Like, look, man, I don't think it's a must win. It would be great if the New Orleans Saints actually won the football game, but it's not a must win, man, because I mean, if that's the case, every game is a must win. Every game is a must win. Talk about how the fan base is convinced Rattler is a franchise quarterback, even though he hasn't earned the title at all. I think he is a starting quarterback in the league, and I think that you can win with Spencer Rattler. I just think that people just get the misconception of what a franchise quarterback is. They feel like a franchise quarterback is a guy that constantly puts the team on his back, and because of him every single week, no matter the adverse situations, that's their quarterback job to be able to stand and deliver. But that's just not it. I mean, you have elite quarterback play across the board, a couple guys that are considered elite, where you see them put their team on the back every single time they get in adverse situations. And then you have those guys that are solid quarterbacks that get the ball in the hands of the playmakers and they find success then. So I just think that people just looking at Spencer Rattler and they're looking at him and they're comparing him to other quarterbacks. And, this is a guy who was a 5th-round pick, and this guy is finding success. Like, he's already exceeded expectations if we're looking at it in the grand scheme of things. Like, how many 5th-round picks do you see out here able to put forth steady performances like Spencer Rattler has throughout the years? Not many. So you are what you are at this point. I just think that people are looking at the quarterback position and they analyze the quarterback position like you look at Joe Burrow or you look at Patrick Mahomes or you look at some of these other guys. But Spencer Rattler is a quarterback that needs players around him in order for him to thrive. guys that can make individuals miss, be able to create separation, be able to win 50-50 balls. Like that's the type of team you have to structure around him offensively. And, you can go out here and try to find yourself a quarterback, that can run around and maybe pull a guy forward or something like that to make you feel better. But I just think that he's playing winnable football. The problem is the New Orleans Saints, the people around him are coming up short. So, I don't have a problem with Spencer Rattler. I just don't. And I just think that Saints fans are looking at him because he's not Drew Brees, and they've been used to for many, many years watching Drew Brees put the team on his back. And I just think that some of you just have a false sense of what a quarterback actually is and what a starting caliber quarterback is. There are different tiers of quarterbacks. There are elite quarterbacks, and then there's starting quarterbacks, and then there's solid quarterbacks. And he falls in that solid category. But that doesn't mean you can't win with a solid quarterback. Man sucks. Many new fake Falcon fans showed up. Man, I find it funny at the end of the day. And that's one of the main reasons why I don't really go at Falcon fans like that. Like, if you notice, like when I was on the show, I was just kind of nodding and whatever, because I mean, it's almost like I'm Superman in this thing, and the bullets just ricocheting off of me, because I seen this movie before, man. I mean, a lot of fake fans in Atlanta, like they show up when they feel confidence or they feel like they got a competitive advantage. They show up then, and then they want to talk. Like they play the sidelines until they feel like they can peek out. But I just know, like, at the end of the day, when things don't go their way, they're not going to show up. And that's the reason why I don't have much respect for many of the Atlanta Falcon fans out there, or lack thereof. There are a few that I definitely respect. They're there, win, lose, or draw. But come on, man, let's just be serious about this. We've been doing the NFC South Roundtable. This is our second year. And how many, like, I ain't never seen Atlanta Falcon fans ready for a show to start. Like, seriously, I never, like in the chat, I ain't never seen it. I've never seen Atlanta Falcon fans ready for the show to start. Like, the first comments I see come from them. But that's the reason why I have absolutely little respect for a lot of them, because they're a bunch of grandstanders. They're conditional fans. We seen that when they went up against Tampa Bay. They won that overtime game. They came marching down Bourbon Street with the flags and stuff like that. And then they started to get their behind whooped and went on that losing streak, and they were nowhere to be found. So they pretty much show their hand every single year. And that's the reason why I don't go back and forth with a lot of Falcon fans, because, to be honest with you, I don't know if I'm going to be talking to you next week, or, how long I'm going to be talking to you. I guess as long as your team finding some levels of success. So I'm sorry I wasn't in the chat, but I couldn't take all the hype over there. We need to give Shaheed and Vele the lion's share of the targets. Look, Jerry, man, as far as that, like, I understand, man. I understand, but I wouldn't even put too much. I wouldn't even put too much stock into that. Like, I'm serious. I wouldn't even put too much stock in it. I find it hilarious, to be honest, because, like I said, they're a conditional fan base. Yeah, as far as giving Shaheed and Vele lion's share of the targets, look, I just think that they need to use Devon Vele a little bit more. Phase out Brandon Cooks. I mean, he only gets like about one catch or one target per game anyway. So maybe using Vele in a slot, allowing this guy to eat, instead of like giving him one target. I just think that the Saints need to utilize their offensive players a little bit more and allow a guy like Vele to actually do something. I mean, you gave up a 4th and a 7th rounder for him. Definitely feels a whole lot different than DA's first year baby steps. Yeah, I mean, as long as you're building on something, like, that's all I care about. Like, not getting slapped around, and you start to see like little positive things happen. Like, you're going to see games where Quincy Riley gets victimized. I mean, he's a young guy, he's inexperienced, and that just comes with the territory. But as long as he's out there continuing to battle, I have no problem with that. I understand that sometimes you got to take the bad with the good. Them bandwagon boys was out and about Creole tonight at the round table. Yeah, man, it's ridiculous. And they have no shame either. They ain't got no shame. TJ, what you were saying about this? TJ, what you were saying about that? Like, I didn't even respond because I'm like, that means that you watched every single show of the roundtable, and that was the moment where you felt like you needed to say something. Like, I'm sorry I put my Who Dat Nation in a tough position, but as long as y'all went with TJ Jones, that's good enough for me. I got a question for you, TJ. Why did Mickey Loomis trade for Vele to only play for get one reception each game? That's your guess is as good as mine, but that's the reason why. I just feel like the New Orleans Saints need to go in a different direction when it comes to Mickey Loomis. But the sad thing about it is we all know that that's not going to happen because he's the only one up top at the top, the tippy top, that understands football. Gail Benson doesn't. Dennis Lauscher really doesn't. And Mickey Loomis is the football guy. So they basically at his mercy. And then you also combine the fact that he's in a freaking wheel of Tom Benson. So he's not going anywhere. At best, you need Mickey Loomis to come to grips and say, man, I think it's time for me to step down, which we know that he ain't going to do because he's a prideful guy and he wants to be able to turn this team around. And hopefully, like I said, Kellen Moore is able to weather this storm because I don't believe in Mickey Loomis at all. I totally believe in Rattler, but I do think that Brandon Staley needs to go. I think that Brandon Staley has a limited selection when it comes to the secondary. I'll give him a pass on that, but I also feel like this defense is not a formidable unit right now. I think they're too sometimey for me. And I just think that the scheme and the play calling defensively is hot garbage. But we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, it's kind of hard to like say that dude needs to be fired. I mean, the Saints, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's the fact that they just don't have a bunch of playmakers defensively, but I do feel like also, Charmaine, like some of the things that he's calling are not ideal in certain situations. But I think that every coach that is on this team this season is basically getting a pass because I think the front office understands that they're limited. TJ, it is so disgusting that these phony fans keep drawing up in my face Spencer Rattler and him losing a game. Spencer Rattler doesn't lose the game. The New Orleans Saints lose the football game. That's just what it is. They lose the football game. And I'm starting to hear these comparisons of Spencer Rattler to Derek Carr. Derek Carr was a second-round pick. He was the 33rd pick in the NFL draft. Well, I want to say he came out like 2012 or something like that. But, this guy was a second-round pick. This guy played 11 seasons, never made the postseason, never won any game of any real significance. And you're talking about a guy who was a fifth-round pick, 150th, going to the New Orleans Saints as a starting quarterback on the team. So those things are not going to be the same. So that's the reason why. Derek Carr came to the New Orleans Saints in year number 10 for himself, or 9. So, I mean, anybody that's using that comparison, they just trying to find ways to try to, I guess make Saints fans feel crazy for believing in Spencer Rattler, but you can just call me crazy, but I believe in a kid. I believe in a kid. I know how hard it is to play the quarterback position and seeing these guys actually go through it. I mean, being a first-round draft pick is hard to play the quarterback position. Imagine being a fifth-round pick out there trying to do it. So I just know and see what type of quarterback that he is, and I just know what the Saints need in order to help him. I guarantee you. I don't really put my neck out there for a lot of things, but I guarantee you, if the New Orleans Saints restructure this wide receiver room and get guys that are different shapes and sizes, you got wide receivers that can get yards after the catch and some dynamic playmakers offensively. I 100% believe that the majority of these Saints fans will be quiet as church mice. Because like I said, they be loud and wrong. All they do is watch the football. That's it. They just watch the football, where the football go. They don't see the ebbs and flows of the game, and most of them don't really understand it, but they be loud and wrong. It's insane to give up those picks just to barely play Vele. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. Are they willing to trade some vets to get draft capital? Probably not, because like I said, they run a mom and pop family-oriented business. And when you love a guy and, oh, he's been with this team for a long time, this is my friend. He's a good guy in the community. When you start thinking like that, you're gonna end up, keeping guys way too long. So I would be shocked if the Saints move anybody at this point. Do you think the New Orleans Saints forget a number 1 or number 2 pick, a quarterback? I don't look the way I feel like Spencer Rattler is playing. I don't think the Saints are going to draft a quarterback. The fact that he's playing solid football, you got Tyler Shuck on the bench who you haven't seen. I think that the New Orleans Saints probably they look. I guarantee you, y'all can cry all you want to, you can complain all you want to. The New Orleans Saints aren't looking at Spencer Rattler the way that you're looking at Spencer Rattler. Like they're not. Like you can believe that you know what you're talking about. But these coaches see this guy every single day. They watch the tape, and they know that this guy's playing steady football. Like they know that he's playing steady football. Like you may sit up here and say, "Oh man, you leave a lot to be desired." But your opinion like when it comes to like those type of decisions, like they're not checking for that. They're not checking for my opinion on it. If I was like saying the same thing, I think that they feel like if they build around this dude, if he continues to play the way that he's been playing and, not really giving up too much, not making many mistakes and keeping the Saints in the game, they're going to look at that as a guy that they can actually build something around. Because I just think that people just get a misunderstanding when it comes to the quarterback position because all we do is focus on the greats. And I look at on social media all the time. I see these people always talking about what other quarterbacks are doing on other teams. You seen what this quarterback did. You seen what that quarterback did, but you don't have that quarterback. So you got to understand where you are as a team. You got to be able to build around that. And we see this all the time. Quarterbacks that can right the ship, keep things afloat. And teams build around those quarterbacks and they find success. TJ, once again, as long as Mickey Loomis is in the front office, I don't see the team doing anything for the next 4 years. They already at the bottom of the division. Atlanta, Carolina, Tampa Bay, better than us. I don't believe in Mickey Loomis at all. I mean, Mickey Loomis is one of the worst general managers I've ever seen in my entire life because I don't think that he makes business decisions based on business. He makes them based on emotion. And I don't think people make really good, just bold decisions based them on emotions. Like, if Alvin Kamara can give you trade value, you trade Alvin Kamara, right? There's no love lost there. See, like people look at Marshawn Lattimore in that trade, but like I just look at like if Marshawn Lattimore was not the way that he was, if he wasn't getting into it with Dennis Allen and having like this passive type attitude when it comes to his coaching and his decisions, I think Marshawn Lattimore would still be with the Saints. It's just the fact that if you comply and you shake hands and give them good eye contact, you're gonna be around there forever, dropping passes, not making big plays, and you can make TikTok videos in your spare time. So that's not the way that you build a football team. And if I'm a team that's repping for a NFC South team other than the Saints, I would want the Saints to keep Mickey Loomis because that the New Orleans Saints are always going to fall short because you got an emotional general manager who makes decisions based on emotion and not what's in the best interest of the team. Because I like Alvin Kamara a lot, but if Alvin Kamara can give you, bring in a 3rd round pick or a 2nd round pick in order for you to be able to take that extra step, you do that. That's just what you do. Like I love Alvin Kamara. I love watching him play, but at the end of the day, it's a business. And I don't look at the team like, oh man, they don't need to get rid of him. I love him. I bought his jersey a couple of years ago and he signed my towel. Man, look, football is a business. It's a business. And I get it, man. It's a tough decision to make when guys are fan favorites, but you do what's best for the team because the Saints are going to be around way longer than any of these guys in the locker room going to be playing. TJ, I'm watching Metcalf, Pickens, these big body receivers eating. We have Vele. Why aren't we using him even blocking? he would be more effective. What's up with this organization? I don't know what's going on with this organization, but you're 1-5 right now. What do you have to lose at this point? I like how they're starting to kind of phase in guys like Danny Stutzman and Isaiah Stallbird, and they're getting guys in the secondary that are young, inexperienced. I want to see what Devin Neal can do. Like, come on, bring Devin Neal in. Like you don't have Velus Jones no more. So man, why don't you let Devin Neal dress? Shoot, see what he can do. You already put Mason Tipton back there to return kicks. He can't do nothing with it. Shoot, let Devin Neal get a shot at it. Give him an opportunity to be able to run back a kick or get a carry in a game. Rattler is doing all he can, but we want to blame him for receiver dropping balls in their hands and fumbling the ball. Like I said, man, Saints fans are used to quarterback putting team on the back. That's all most of them ever really seen. And like I said, it's yes, Drew Brees left behind a standard, but it's also a standard that not only can not many quarterbacks for the New Orleans Saints live up to, we're talking about what quarterbacks in NFL as a whole can't live up to. If Rattler had A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, that boy would be unstoppable. If you can get guys getting yards after the catch, I don't know how many games that a lot of Saints fans watch other than other Saints games. And that's why I encourage fans of the New Orleans Saints to check out some of these other teams and what they actually do when it comes to offensive innovation. You'll see a quarterback just dump it down to a running back and he'll get 20, 30 yards after he catches the football. A guy as a wide receiver go on a drag route and just stiff arms a guy and just runs down the field. Like, you got to be able to watch what other teams are doing and, looking at the quarterback position, because I know that the primetime games come on and, those are for the high profile quarterbacks, justifiably so. Nobody wants to be put to sleep by watching the New Orleans Saints in primetime. I mean, I'm just being honest, but go back and watch like some of these teams that may kind of just be middle of the tier, winning games, losing games. You put players around them and you find success. Like, look at the Indianapolis Colts. Look at Daniel Jones. Like, Daniel Jones was left for dead. Now, they only lost one game in Indy with Daniel Jones. What did they do? Well, they got themselves some guys that can get yards after the catch. They got a running back that they dumped the ball down to Jonathan Taylor, able to get yards after the catch, after contact. You build around the quarterback, and you're able to, build a team around him, and you maximize his strengths and things that he lacked. You put other players around him to be able to compensate for that. It's not hard. Teams do it all the time. But like I said, when you're just watching high-profile quarterbacks all the time throw the ball down the field and make everybody better because they're elite quarterbacks, you just get a false, you just get a misconception of what, what quarterback play is all about. Like I said, Saints fans are looking for Drew Brees. But like I said, Drew Brees ain't walking through that door, man. You got to be able to build around this quarterback. If he's showing you something and he's showing you that, there's some positive things that you can actually work with. Like, I don't think that people just need to just throw this man up out the door. Spencer Rattler isn't the problem. Kool-Aid kills us every game. I'm tired of Kool-Aid. Take Juwan Johnson out though. Play Foster. Saints just need another tight end in general, man. I'm just like, man, Juwan Johnson ain't it. He is not it. Like, probably give you a catch. Like, dude, just like, why does it take? I'm gonna get to you, Corey. Why does it take a fan base basically just like eviscerating you? You know what I'm saying? Like, just for you to be able to catch a couple passes, and then you won't look up at the crowd and talk to them. Like, that's my problem. Like, why do you care about what people are saying about you? And why do we have to criticize you to motivate you to go out there and do your job? Those are the type of things, to me, is the reason why they'll never live up to their potential in New Orleans. That's just what it is. Like, if I'm a receiver, I wouldn't give a damn about what a Saints fan got to say about me. Like, seriously. I'm going to go out there and do my job. I know what needs to be done. Like, you want to catch a touchdown or a tough catch, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, man, I'm him. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not, man. Like, I shouldn't have to gas you up. You should always be ready to play. We are watching Spencer Rattler develop. We may not be able to see his full potential in the Saints uniform. Baker Mayfield, Daniel Jones, Sam Donald, Mac Jones. Trust me, teams are watching Spencer. Wish they could run the ball, but the defense puts the offense in a hole early. Yep. I mean, the last 4 games, at least 4 games of the season, teams have scored back-to-back touchdowns on their first opening drive. Like, that's pathetic. That's absolutely pathetic, man. So you basically in a 14-3, 14-7 hole right away from the jump. What are you supposed to do with that? Is my question. What are you supposed to do with that? How are you supposed to be able to put together any type of offensive game plan? Like, if you have a first 15 that consists of a balance of run and a pass, you got to throw that out the window. And that's one of the main reasons why last week the New England Patriots, during the coin toss, I believe the Saints won the coin toss and they elected to receive, because they like, dang, at least we can get the ball first and try to get some points first before this defense goes out here and does what it does already. I believe Devon Godshaw said it best. He's like, we might as well just spot the other team 14 points from the jump. Now you're down 14-0. You're down 14-3. Like, of course, like, now you got to kind of scratch some things out. Like, you probably already had a balanced attack going to start the game, but now you got to throw it away. Why? Because the defense is allowing back-to-back touchdowns. We let the Chiefs trade ahead of to draft Mahomes. We traded back into the first round just to pass on Lamar, and now we just recently passed on Jackson Dart. I don't know if the Saints passed on Jackson Dart. I think it was more so like the deal that I think the Giants wanted. The Saints didn't want to, I guess, like, oblige with that, or it was like it was just the fact that the Giants had a better offer. And they also had an earlier pick in the second round than the Saints did. So maybe if they would have been able to get back into the first round, which they tried to do, they would have got Jackson Dart. So I respect the hustle. Things just don't always work out the way that you anticipate. Heck yeah, Slim. And they were dragging for Mike T as well, calling that man Slant Boy. I love Slant Boy. Yeah, I bet y'all wish y'all had a slant boy right now. Slant Boy caught everything. I promise everyone, if you put Rattler on a competitive team with a decent head coach, he becoming a star quarterback just like Daniel Jones and Baker Mayfield. Yeah, man, I just think that people don't understand the developmental process of a quarterback. They feel like it should be an easy read, an easy study. And, I just don't understand how anybody can just take a look at this football team the way it's structured right now and expect for Spencer Rattler to do anything. I don't understand how anybody is just looking at what this guy did last year when he had a bunch of backups playing in a game, and you had a coach that got fired midway through the season, and people are like holding him accountable for that. Like, I just think that, Saint fans want an easy study. They just want this losing to stop, right? So how do you get the losing to stop? Well, you go out here and get an all-world quarterback. Well, I think a lot of teams want an all-world quarterback. It don't always work that way. You got to use what you got. And like I said, I've seen a lot of quarterbacks play in the National Football League. Spencer Rattler isn't the worst quarterback I've seen play the quarterback position. And then on top of that, how many quarterbacks have we seen throughout? Well, I don't know. Maybe some of y'all kind of young to the game, but there have been several quarterbacks that have found success in the National Football League, have not been a team on back type quarterback, but the coaching staff and the organization put players around them and they thrive. Look no further than San Francisco with Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo, Rich Gannon, Ryan Tannehill, Trent Dilfer. So many different quarterbacks that have found success in the National Football League when you put a team around them. They were able to just kind of keep that thing afloat. And that the team was able to build around that particular player. Whatever they were lacking in, guess what? They probably had a good running game. They probably played some really good defense. See, the problem is the New Orleans Saints don't have anything to basically compensate for the things that Spencer Rattler lacks in. If the Saints had a really good defense and the defense was like top 2 or something like that, and it was getting stops and turnovers, then, maybe you can give Spencer Rattler and the offense a shorter field. Or if you had a really good offensive line and you were able to run the football consistently with Kendre Miller and Alvin Kamara, and they were averaging nearly 170, 180 yards, nearly 200 yards a clip as a collective unit, all the while Spencer Rattler is out there just facilitating the ball, you'll probably have a better record and you'll probably be a better football team. The problem is the Saints have too many glaring holes, and you need a quarterback right now that is all world to be able to, compensate for that. You think about like some of these Saints teams of the past, like when Drew Brees was out there throwing for 5,000 yards. I mean, Drew Brees in the offense was cooking. The defense couldn't stop nobody. And the Saints were like 7-9, 7-9, 8-8. And that's with an all-world elite quarterback. So Spencer Rattler is not an all-world elite quarterback. So what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Like, the craziest thing in the world is for somebody to believe that another quarterback can just come up in here and just change everything about this team. Like, I don't understand like why a lot of Saints fans aren't looking at the complete structure of this football team. And how you just come to conclude, how do you just come to the conclusion that one individual at the quarterback position is the reason why the Saints don't find success? But like I said, when you're only looking at elite quarterbacks and you're only looking at guys that can go out there and get it done no matter what the situation you put them in, of course you're going to sit up here and feel like you're falling short. Let's see. It's tough being the sucky team. It's like trying to sit at the lunch table with the cool kids and the cool kids move away from you because you stink. That's a good analogy right there. Nah, it doesn't feel good. And, but at the end of the day, look, I think that, I don't think that around this time next year is going to feel this way. I don't. I just think that the Saints needed to get themselves back to the black, which they will do. And I just think they need a solid NFL draft. Like, they're going to be picking in the top 5. So they're going to bring in a really good player that can be impactful. At least I hope. TJ, what position do you think we should draft in the first round? I don't really have a certain position that I feel like the Saints need to go after. I mean, I think that you just need to find the most impactful player on any side of football that you can find. Like, if it's Ruben Bain Jr., bring him in. If you feel like there's a quarterback out here that you think that could give you way more, and you feel like the next 10, 15 years, put that quarterback out there, they're going to be eating and thriving, then get that. If you feel like there's a wide receiver out there that can change your life, do that. But, I just think that the Saints need an impactful player. I'm talking about a day one starter. I mean, as soon as this dude hit the ground, it's just painstakingly obvious that he's just better than anything you have at that position group. TJ, how do you feel about Kellen Moore? Because to me, what I've been watching, I don't think he really allows Spencer Rattler the full playbook, and I haven't been seeing decent play calling. Well, I don't want to say I haven't seen decent play calling. I think that Kellen Moore is calling plays based on the offensive personnel that he has. Like, why are you calling like certain plays where it would allow a player to have to get some level of separation or getting yards after the catch? Like, more than likely you throw this ball to this wide receiver, he going to go down with the first line, right? He ain't going to make nobody miss, right? I mean, it seems to me like he understands what his team actually is, and he's not asking them to do more than what he knows they can do. And that's the reason why I feel like the New Orleans Saints have been in most of these games, because he's asking these players to do things that they're just good at right now. I think that you'll probably start drafting players that can do a multifaceted of things. And that's when I think you'll see the playbook start to open up. But look, you can't put a square peg into a round hole. Like, you can't be out here calling, plays that require a guy to go up for a 50-50 ball when you know that most of your wide receivers not going to come down with it. Like, you got to know the room. You got to read the room, Purdy doesn't even deserve the money he got when any quarterback can play in Kyle's system. Yeah. I mean, but that's just a prime example right there. That's just a prime example. Like, you don't have to be an all-world quarterback to find success. You just got to do your job. To name a couple more quarterbacks like Joe Flacco with the Ravens or Kerry Collins with the Jets, Jake Delhomme with the Panthers. Yeah. Like I say, we fall in love with the franchise quarterback and we fall in love with the play and we become envious of the play that we're watching. And we're like, why isn't my quarterback like that? Why doesn't my quarterback play like that? But look, man, all quarterbacks are not the same. But just because one quarterback may be considered elite and the other quarterback may be kind of a bottom tier doesn't mean that you can't win with him. Bain Jr., 2026. Oh, wait, we have Mickey Loomis as the general manager. Well, I mean, I think he's a team captain, so that might work in his favor. I've been watching a football game in my entire life like that. I rather watch college basketball and NBA, TJ. I need to get NBA 2K26 on Xbox Series X for real, for real. I don't care what the people say, though. Yeah, man, look, I've been watching football my entire life too, man. But at the end of the day, I mean, I didn't see this team like go through all type of different phases like throughout my 39 years of existence. And like I said, some of you, this is rare air for you, but I like what I'm seeing from the Saints. I see promise. Like, I think Alontae Taylor, I was listening to his press conference. He was like, it's not like we just got out here getting dog walk. I'm paraphrasing here. He's like, we in every game. And that's the most frustrating thing about it. I don't think anybody would be sitting up here upset if the Saints were getting beat down every single week. Hey, TJ, how you feel about the vision turning on Seth Rollins? I mean, I don't have any issue with that. Honestly, I feel like the way that they were structured over the last couple of months, they were kind of separate anyway. You had Seth Rollins working with his wife Becky Lynch against CM Punk and AJ Lee, and you had Bronson Reed and you had Brian Breaker basically kind of doing their own thing, right? So they had their little issue with Roman and the bloodline. So I mean, I think that was the WWE's way to see if the Bryans can stand on their own, and they found out that they could. So there was no need for Seth Rollins to be a part of that, and so they separated them. So I don't have any issue with that. I mean, what does Brian Breaker need Seth Rollins for? He can talk on the mic. He's a legit athlete, and he's over when it comes to the fans. So normally you put a young, inexperienced guy with a veteran in order for him to grow and learn. Like, think about like Evolution and, with Ric Flair and Triple H, they had Batista and Randy Orton. Randy Orton was the young guy of the group that they wanted to groom. Batista was the heavy that they felt like, had some promise. But, when you look at Brian Breaker, I mean, he was ready for a long time. They just never called him up from NXT. So he was already ready. I mean, he was, in my opinion, in NXT 2 years longer than he had to be. Just like the Atlanta Falcons did with Matt Ryan in his rookie year, they ran the ball and passed when needed. Sorry, I brought Atlanta into the chat. Man, look, I get what you're talking about. Like, you got to know the room. You got to read the room. And like I said, man, I think that the narrative and what we have grown accustomed to believing is like quarterback has to be a quarterback to put the team on his back in order for him to have value. No, I don't believe that. And I'm just telling you, I'm just telling you what I feel. Like a guy who is known for being turnover prone, a guy that is a bit of a risk taker, he goes out there and you look at how he played last season when he was playing, and you look at how he's playing this season. It shows you that he has the ability to be able to adapt and evolve. And yeah, like I said, I don't know why and how you have these fans that watch NFL games and they have seen these quarterbacks go to destinations and fail, or go align themselves with a certain coaching staff and fail. And then another coaching staff comes in and helps that quarterback develop and reach his full potential, and he finds success. Like, I just don't want people to get into the business of writing guys off just because he doesn't give you everything you want to see right away. Football is a developmental process. Not many guys are going to just hit the ground running, and they're not going to make the best decisions, and they're not going to always make the right throws all the time. It takes time, it takes practice, and it takes film study. And it also takes a collection of players around them in order for them to generate success. I'm just telling you, for people that is talking about the New Orleans Saints and Spencer Rattler being an issue and a problem, my question is, what do the New Orleans Saints have on their team right now that complements Spencer Rattler in any way? Like, in any way. Like, is the defense hunting? Is it a top 10 defense? Do you have shutdown corners? Do you have an opportunistic defense in any way? Do you have a dominant pass catcher? Do you have a dominant offensive line? Do you have a dominant running game? You don't have these things. So I'm just saying, like, what do the New Orleans Saints have? When you look at like some of these top teams in the National Football League, there's always something that can complement a quarterback, unless they're elite. Let's look at a quarterback that isn't elite, but really a solid quarterback, borderline really good. Let's look at Jordan Love, right? Now, Jordan Love isn't an elite quarterback, but he's a really good quarterback. But what is around him, right? You got Josh Jacobs running the football, getting 5-6 yards a clip, right? You got, Tucker Kraft is coming into his own as a really good pass catching tight end, get yards after the catch. You got Romeo Doubs, big body, 6'3", 215 type guy, get separation. You have Jaden Reed, who I don't think has been hurt, but he's a guy that can get separation, take the top off. You got all of these things around you in order for you to generate success. If you take away Jonathan Taylor, you take away Antonio Pittman Jr. away from the Colts, I don't think that Daniel Jones is thriving the way that he is. You got to be able to put players around a guy that lacks in certain departments, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that it's insane for people to judge this guy based on the fact that he just isn't everything that you want to see in a quarterback. Like, you don't have many quarterbacks like that. I just wonder who you think going to come in and give you that. Like, even if you bring in Tyler Shough, he's not going to give you everything you want either. Let's see what the rookie has. Okay, let's see what he has. If he does, let's just say he does one thing better. Let's just say the 57-yard pass that Spencer Rattler threw. Tyler Shough is able to get it out there a little bit further, and Chris Olave is able to run to the end zone for a touchdown. Right? I mean, that sounds good, right? But in adverse situations, when, maybe Spencer Rattler would have, checked it down or something like that, Tyler Shough might throw it into coverage for an interception. Are you still frustrated? Or versus Spencer Rattler throwing the ball and, I don't know, they catch the ball, but it's short of the first down. I mean, you're still frustrated, right? So you can talk about one thing that a guy can do better than the other, but if the result is the same, you still frustrated at the end of the day. So I don't know, man. I don't know what people want. Like, you want to bring Tyler Shough out there for him to give you a long ball? Okay. If he gives you a long ball and he's constantly making mistakes that maybe Spencer Rattler wouldn't make, you okay with that? Like, I don't think so. You still gonna be frustrated that the Saints losing, or they're turning the ball over, or him not looking apart. Tyler Warren is killing it in Indy. He is damn good. He probably gonna get Offensive Rookie of the Year if he keeps it up. Saints need this type of guy. in this draft are a blue chip defensive end. They also need big, nasty nose tackle to stop the run. I agree. There's a lot of things that the Saints need, but they definitely need to fix this defense. And they definitely need a really good pass catching wide receiver on this football team. Everybody wants Spencer Rattler to be Joe Kane. Well, brother, you definitely keep hope alive. I don't see it. Hope they make me a believer. Look, I just look at what this team actually is, man. And I just know what, like, I just see that the biggest issue is the fact that they just limited. It's not like if the Saints had better talent and they were playing the way that they are right now, they'll probably have won more than one game. They're limited. Like, we look at this football team, like, I always use the example when I'm talking about my son. My son is 6 years old, for people that don't know. All right, Paxton is 6 years old. If I tell Paxton to shoot a NBA regulated 3-point shot and he don't make it, why would I sit up there and yell at him and be like, man, you should have made that shot? He's 6 years old. He's not going to have the strength to be able to push that ball from the NBA regulated 3-point line in order to make the shot. He's probably going to maybe hit, close to where the free throw line is, a little bit closer than that. But why would I expect for him to make that 3-point shot? We know that the New Orleans Saints are limited in certain areas. There are going to be games where they are going to be outclassed because they don't have the horses in the barn right now. Like, you got to know where you are. You got to understand it. Until the New Orleans Saints can fix some of these issues and be able to bring in players that can be impactful at these positions, it is not going to be an ideal season. I just want people to understand that. I think that a lot of Saints fans want that light to come on. Man, it might happen against Chicago. Man, we might even knock off Tampa. Like, this is not a good football team. And that's why I've been telling y'all for weeks, like, when they win, just take the wins. Be happy about it. Let's go into next week. Hopefully they can probably do it again. Like, this is not going to be an easy fix. This is not one of those things where everything just starts to come together. I keep telling y'all, this isn't Disney. On those Disney movies, those teams start to get together. The bad news bears become champions. But that's not real life. That's not real life, especially when you're looking at a young, inexperienced team with a bunch of guys that are out there that are trying to figure out what it takes to be pros. This defense stinks. Yeah, it's pretty terrible, man. Jordan Tyson, yeah, I like him. Yeah, I think that he definitely fit the mold of what I'm talking about as a wide receiver. I don't really care who starts. I want to win, but more so leaders to start getting ticked off at the effort. Well, I mean, look, I think that they are. I think they are ticked off that they're not winning. But like I said, if you're limited as a football team, what can you do? What can you do, man? Like you can be ticked off all you want to, but that's not going to stop that guy from getting beat deep. It's just not. Kool-Aid out here looking like Flavor Aid. I'm pulling for him, though. I know he can play a big jump from the SEC to the NFL. I think that Kool-Aid can play. He's just not a number one corner. But I think the Saints knew that. Kellen Moore has to grow up a lot faster in the NFL as a head coach. Brandon Staley needs to make adjustments better during the game. Please stop playing zone. I will say this, though. They do make good halftime adjustments because I don't think the Patriots, and let me make sure I'm telling you right, because the Patriots only scored 3 points in the second half. Let's go back. Let's take a look. All right. The Patriots only scored 3 points in the second half. The Bills scored 17 points in the second half. That's not a really good example, but there were a couple teams. The Giants didn't score any points in the second half. I'm just trying to take a look. Like, they make good halftime adjustments. The Cardinals, they only scored 3 points in the second half. So, I mean, they are making the adjustments. The problem is they're not starting a game off fast enough. Right? You got a couple of instances in Seattle. Like I said, I mean, the game was pretty much over. They were just trying to get up out of there. But, for the most part throughout the season, more games than not, they've been making the halftime adjustments. Most of the damage was done in the first half. Like, Drake May had a perfect passer rating in the first half. You had Jackson Dart go back-to-back touchdowns in the first half. So they're making adjustments. It's just the offense isn't built strong enough to be able to play catch-up in these games. Asante Samuel Jr. is still available. Yeah, he is still available, but I think that neck issue that he's dealing with have teams like looking, a little bit sideways at him. I just hope that he's all right. TJ, this team is limited and lackluster because of the general manager. I mean, that goes without saying. That goes without saying. Like, he put the Saints in this position. The thing is, let me see. Okay, the thing is, you can't win a lot of games when we automatically giving up 14. I mean, it's right there, right in front of your face. It's right there, right in front of your face. It's a bunch of players need to be benched. Juwan Olave moved to wide receiver 2. Vele needs to be moved to wide receiver 1. And on defense, we need to stop running zone all game. Yeah, I mean, look, they're not going to bench Juwan Johnson because he's probably the best pass-catching tight end you got. Olave is the number 1 receiver, and they're going to keep him that way. I do feel like they need to use Vele a little bit more. I don't think that, I think his targets need to have an uptick. I'm concerned as to why the Saints aren't utilizing him in the passing game more. Like, I thought that maybe when you trade for this guy, he was going to be a part of this offense a little bit more, but he is not. And, I mean, they run a lot of zone. He runs a lot of zone, but yeah, I'm not a fan of it. But he probably realized he don't have a lot of good man coverage corners either. I just want this team and coaching to continue to grow and just beat the Falcons. Yeah, if you can beat the Falcons 1 out of the 2 times, I think that Saints fans, they'll be okay with that. Like, but if you beat them twice, oh my goodness, like you don't have to win another game. If the Saints go 1-8, they have to look at the young guys, including Shuck. I agree with that. I agree. Offense fizzle out on drives quicker than a festering wound applied with witch hazel. Yeah, man, they get down the field. Man, that's the crazy thing. They're able to move the football, right? But they just can't cash it in. They're able to drive to the bank, but they can't cash the check. Like, it's frustrating. Do we have any faith in these tight ends? I'm just trying to figure out why we don't use any other tight end besides Juwan Johnson. That's a good question. I just want to see what Tyler Welsh can do, man. I know he's been on the practice squad for a minute. Like, what do you have to lose at this point? Like I said, you're 1-5. Like, you can do everything you want. Like, you're at the point where you just basically playing spoiler for teams. Like, you can be out here throwing all type of trickeration at teams. Like, you can do all type of different things. Foster is better than Juwan. As a tight end, as an overall tight end, yes. But they'll probably say he a better pass catcher than Foster is. We literally don't have good wide receivers. I'm not going to say they're not good. I just don't think that their skill set is complementary of what Spencer Rattler can do as a quarterback. I just think that you need more from your wide receiver position than what these wide receivers can give you. Like, Chris Olave, to me, I just don't think that he fits that mold of being that number 1 guy for a quarterback like Spencer Rattler. But he can probably be a number 1 guy for a quarterback like Josh Allen. I think he can do that, Maybe that's something that the Saints can look into. Honestly, I think Brandon Cook need more targets every time we throw to him. He comes down with the ball. That would be good for the team, too, getting everyone involved. Yeah, I just think that they probably designate a lot of the targets to Chris Olave because he's the number 1 guy. And like I said, you look at Brandon Cooks, you look at Vele, you look at Shaheed. Like, look at the targets. Most of the targets are going Olave's way, but I do think they need to distribute the ball a little bit more. Seems like TJ, when we get in the red zone and have the momentum going, we commit a drive-killing penalty, undisciplined play. It's time to bench or trade Pete Werner. Why are we benching or trading Pete Werner? I mean, Pete Werner led the team in tackles last week with 11. You know, I don't know, man. I say I know we got, you got Danny Stutzman out there, and everybody wants to see him. But I mean, Pete Werner been a solid linebacker. I mean, I guess that's just one of those cases where one like Spencer Rattler, he hasn't really separated himself from being that top guy. So it's like, well, let's see what somebody else can do. There's been so many tight ends coming out and doing well. When Mickey goes to draft one, that wave will have passed, and he's gonna get another buster. I ain't nobody call somebody a buster. So problem is we need that big body receiver, 6'2" and above. Yeah, you need it. I mean, honestly, he ain't even gotta be like I would prefer like a big body receiver like 6'2", 6'3". But somebody that just got some dog in them, shoot somebody. But I definitely like feel like that those 6'2", 6'3" receivers, especially in the red zone, can be beneficial. I got 6 or 8 3-and-outs and 5 field goals. One of the 5 misses in my beat versus the Bears. Let's see. Pete Werner makes team tackles. He doesn't make big plays. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But he's that linebacker that's gonna be where he needs to be at, right? He gonna be where he needs to be. He's just not that impactful, flying all around the field type linebacker. And maybe that is what you need. Need that linebacker with the screw loose. A.T. Perry is 6'5". Yeah, I don't think they should have got rid of A.T. Perry. I think A.T. Perry would have been a really good receiver. We need to get wide receiver, running back, and tight ends to move to the field for Spencer Rattler, TJ. They're going to get the end zone and touchdown right in our face, bro. The offensive chemistry is official work with Coach Kellen Moore. Yeah, it seemed like, they just not on the same page in all aspects of the game. You can tell that Spencer Rattler is trying to develop that rapport with Chris Olave, but for some reason, it hasn't worked out. Facts, we need players that come from a broken home, off the field issues. Those be the dogs. I don't know if they got to have off the field issues, man. I mean, Marcus Coaster was the dog, and he didn't have no off the field issues. Larry Fitzgerald was a dog, and he didn't have off the field issues. You don't have to have off the field issues to be a dog or have that mentality of that number one. You just got to have that discipline and that willingness to be able to go up there and get the football and wanting it more than the person that's trying to stop you from catching it. I think that's the key. And I look around this room and I don't know if I have those guys that really fully believe that they are capable of doing this game in, game out. Like I see a lot of smiling and 32s, a lot of veneers, like I don't know, man. I just think that they need somebody that's going to be able to step up and make plays consistently. I think Olave is shell shock from all them concussions. What you think? I think it plays a role in how he's playing. I think that sometimes like he becomes hesitant. I told you, like, well, maybe I didn't. I did say it on NFC South Roundtable. There was a play where Spencer Rattler threw him the ball into the end zone, and if you look, and in slow motion, there's a cornerback barreling down on him. And he took a brief look at that cornerback, like try to see like what angle he was coming at. And I think that brief second that he looked at that cornerback, it just made you like, it could have like stopped you and prohibited you from actually maybe run a little faster or extending a little bit more to catch that ball. I just think that he has a case of the yips going across the middle of the field, right? Trying to come down with the catch, wondering, okay, I'm focused on the ball. Is there somebody that's going to take my head off? Like football, bro, that's a tough thing to deal with. Like, just think about that. Like, I'm going to tell y'all, man, I'm going to tell y'all a story. I know what it's like to have a concussion. All right. So there was like a while, it was like a long, I won't say it was a long time ago. I was maybe like 13, 14 years old. And we were renting this house. And this house was kind of raggedy, man. And the kitchen area, you had sheetrock like falling from the roof. So one morning, I end up like getting ready for school, and I go into my refrigerator to try to get some milk. All of a sudden, like the sheetrock just comes down on me, and a beam just knocks me out, like knocks me out cold. The next thing that I remember is my mom, like right there, like next to me, telling me what happened. Like I'm in the hospital room. Like she, like I don't remember the drive. They called the ambulance. They did all these things. I don't remember anything. Like I was scared to death. Like I didn't know what was going on. I just remember. I'll never forget. I had on my light blue shirt, getting ready for school, blue pants. And I remember just opening the refrigerator, and that's the last thing that I remember. That's scary, man. And somebody like telling you, like, man, are you okay? And you see your mama, like you turn, like, man, what's going on here? Like that right there, like it sticks with you. And especially when you play a sport that there's a high probability that might happen again. So, I mean, it's not an easy fix. It's not an easy fix, man. You got to be able to go through this situation, be able to battle through it, and be able to trust your body again. And I just think that in certain areas, I don't think Chris Olave really is truly trusting his body. I mean, there's only two people that know the truth. That's God and Chris Olave. But to me, I just think that he's in his own head. He is not balling out, and I think it has a lot to do with those concussions. I really do. I think that he's in his head. I was just joking, TJ, but we definitely need dogs too. Now I know what you're talking about, Alfred. I believe you said that the other night too on the live stream. I know you were joking, man. But I get what you playing. I get what you're saying, man. Yeah, I mean, you want somebody with a screw loose. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Long as they out here, making plays and not just doing anything that could prohibit the team from being looked at in a bad light, other than a general manager falling short. These receivers soft, no dogs, and Olave is just a complimentary piece. Bond didn't get a chance because of Davis. It is what it is. Yeah. Woke up in a hospital. Olave too small to take them hits. Olave shouldn't be going anywhere. Warner is a defensive trade. Olave is very good wide receiver. Packers have a ton of number twos, no ones. Yeah, I mean, but they also have like that. That's what I'm saying. You have to have guys that are complementary guys to the skill set of said quarterback. You have to understand what your quarterback can actually do, and you have to align him with players that actually complement his skill set. Like you're absolutely right. Like Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft, like they basically are wide receivers by association. Like they just complementary receivers, I should say. They just complement what Jordan Love does, but they also have guys that can get yards after the catch. They also got guys that's possession guys, like Romeo Doubs is your possession guy. The guy that stretch the field, that's Jaden Reed. Guy to catch the ball out of backfield, that's Josh Jacobs. The guy that can catch those intermediate routes in short situations, that's Tucker Kraft. Red zone, Tucker Kraft. Luke Musgrave. You have a collection and a collage of players that complement Jordan Love. So like that's what I'm saying. Like you need that if you're going to structure your team. I just think, and that's what I'm saying. I think that Saints fans have a false sense of reality of what Spencer Rattler can be, because there's nobody on his team that he can have a rapport with to show you how he can possibly break through and find success, because there's not that guy, that go-to guy consistently that is going to make him look good, right? At the end of the day, if Brock Purdy throws the ball to Christian McCaffrey and it's a 2-yard pass, and Christian McCaffrey turned it to 63 yards after that catch, guess what? That's a pass catch, and that's going to be 65 yards for Brock Purdy. Plain and simple. Like, you got to be able to make plays. You got to find guys to make plays and be able to complement your quarterback, no matter who it is. TJ, I want to know what other content creators are nervous to say Rattler is playing well or can be the future of the franchise. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's saying that. But to be honest with you, I'm not, I'm not like other content creators, if that's what you're alluding to. I don't know. All I know is I know football, man. I watch a lot of football. I understand football. I coach football, play football. Like, I get it. Like, I understand, like, the ebbs and flows and understanding of the game. And I'm just telling you, like, the thing, I just think that a lot of people are looking at this thing when it comes to Spencer Rattler, and it's just a vacuum. Like, okay, we're not winning games, so he's not good enough. Like, it's more than that. Like, if he was out here throwing interceptions, having more turnovers than a bakery, then I can understand that. Like, I can understand people like, oh man, this dude, like, get him up out of here. But he like, if you give him weapons around him, like, he's not turning over the football. He makes good decisions more so than not. He finds the right receiver most times than not. I mean, you just need some players that can actually just make a play, man. Just make a play. Like, and not just have to constantly count on a guy, oh man, he have to take that deep shot down the field. And he's not taking many deep shots down the field. Like, it's more than that. No need to take a deep shot down the field if you know your wide receiver not going to come down with it most of the time. So how can I get in contact with you so I can run it with you? You can email me, stateofthesaints@gmail.com. Stateofthesaints@gmail.com, Alfred. Saints refuse to draft a stud on the defensive line. I look around the league, everyone have more talented defensive linemen. Yeah, you got to be able to draft those guys, man. Thanks for covering the Monday Night Football game last night, TJ. Man, no problem, man. I enjoyed covering those primetime games. I just think we need young guys with fresh legs and purge the losers from the Dennis Allen time. Get them losers off my team. Yeah, they do need to get younger, man, and come to grips with some of these players out there. Can y'all honestly say Rattler should be on the hot seat? I don't believe those losses on Rattler at all. In fact, he's been a highlight of the season so far. Yeah, those losses aren't on him, man. You can talk about a throw or two in a game that it could have been made, but that shouldn't be the deciding factor as to why this dude gets sitting on the bench. And I just don't believe that, man. I just look at this team and I just know they're not structured to succeed offensively consistently. Harold Perkins needs to be a Saint, and you might get what you want. It may end up getting Harold Perkins. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if I know at one time Harold Perkins was considered a top 15 pick, but over the years, man, his draft stock started to kind of dwindle. Late second round, third round pick. So you might end up being able to get a guy like Harold Perkins. I'm gonna take a few more, then we're gonna get up out of here. The problem is Cam Jordan still your starting defensive end. Well, I mean, not since Chase Young has come back. Now he's not. Like, Chase Young and Carl Granderson are your starting defensive end. Like, he's been starting this season because Chase Young hasn't been out there. But yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be relying on your 36-year-old defensive end to be the highlight of your team after 15 years of playing football. We need young dogs with wide receiver, tight end, running back, and Rattler, TJ. I'm tired of seeing Chris Olave and Juwan Johnson so many times like that. It's damn shame. Yeah, it just needs to come down with the football, make some plays, man. Juwan Johnson got himself an extra contract, needs to go out there and play. But, man, Juwan Johnson is what he is. I just think that you're just wasting everybody's time if you think he's going to break through. He's not that good. And Demario Davis still your best linebacker at 36. That's a problem too. I mean, it's a testament to the greatness of Demario Davis, but I mean, you at least want somebody to be challenging him. I mean, it ain't even close. Do you think the Saints made a mistake in hiring defensive coach? Only time will tell. But right now, I mean, the defense looks terrible. So they're going to have to figure that thing out. Juwan Johnson cost us 2 wins. Rewind facts. Yeah, I mean, look, he's just not it. Like throwing to this guy, like he the truth. I mean, when it's clearly a lie, right? I mean, it's just not, man. He's not the worst tight end I've ever seen, but he definitely not a number one tight end. Like he a number one tight end for a team that's broke like the Saints. But after this season, like there's nowhere in the world he should be your feature number one tight end. Like there's no way. No way. No way. Like you got to bring somebody else off in this thing. I don't know. You can bring in Dawson Knox or somebody that's probably going to be a free agent after this season. Go ahead and bring him in and try to add some pass catching. Even in a draft, man, get a tight end. Chauncey got released again. Yeah, that was like a little mutual agreement between the Baltimore Ravens and him. You know, I guess he didn't want to be on the practice squad. Wanted to go somewhere else where he can actually compete. But I'm pretty sure he'll get picked up somewhere. Why they don't throw to Kamara in space like use a lot of screens? I don't know. I haven't seen a screen. When the last time y'all seen the Saints run a screen? I ain't seen a screen in a minute. We need to draft nothing but dogs in next year's draft. In the words of the late DMX, where my dogs at? Arr, arr, arr. Let's see. Right. Jawal is the last time Kamara was used properly was with Sean Payton. That's why I say he needs to be traded. Like, try to find somewhere where that man can thrive. They need to fix the secondary issues, just like they fixed the car issue like that for real, for real. Yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be fixed. They come up with more reasons why they lost than they have wins. Yeah, I mean, look, there's only so many moral victories that people are going to be able to, handle, right? I mean, nobody want to hear that. Like, oh man, we fought hard. Like every team is fighting hard. Teams that's winning games fighting hard. Jared says, rest in peace to D'Angelo. Yeah, rest in peace to the legendary D'Angelo. Passed away today at the age of 51 years old. We need to go get Darren Waller. Yeah, if he available, yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Or somebody that kind of fits that mold. The problem, TJ, is that our stars on defense and offense are DeMario and Alvin, and we drafted Alvin back in 2017, and DeMario came in 2018, I believe. Since 2018, New Orleans has only drafted one Pro Bowler. I mean, now one pro. Yeah, that is true. That is true. I mean, you got some guys that left out the door, became all pros like Zach Bond and Trey Hendrickson. But yeah, you're absolutely right, man. But you know, that was the outlier, that 2017 draft. Since then, the New Orleans Saints haven't really been drafting well. Now, this draft so far has looked pretty good. Seems like they got some guys that can make some plays, but they just gotta learn to get better and get more gaming experience. Fact, three-legged dog leaders of the pack type plays. Three-legged dogs. About 4 more weeks until the bye week. Let the kids be quarterback until then. But if needed, then let Shuck finish the season. I agree, man. If it's going like this, like just go ahead and let them play. And then you have a decision that you can make at the end of the season. If you want to keep Rattler around as your starting quarterback, but if you do that, then you got to build some things around him. If you feel like maybe you can go out here and get Lenore Sellers or some of these other quarterbacks out here, let's take a look, man. I mean, let me call out some of these quarterbacks. NFL Draft 2026 quarterbacks, like QBs. All right, let's take a look at it. All right, so let's take a look at what the ESPN has. So ESPN, this is according to Mel Kiper right now. This is his big board among quarterbacks. You got Lenore Sellers. This is another guy that I'm pretty high on. Fernando Mendoza. I like him. I like Mendoza. Garrett Nussmeier is number 3. Drew Aller, who Penn State lost for the season. Carson Beck with the Miami Hurricanes. Cade Klubnik, no sir. You got John Mateer with the Oklahoma Sooners. You got Arch Manning. Ty Simpson with the Alabama Crimson Tide. And you also have Arizona State quarterback Sam Levitt. So Those are your top quarterbacks. And I don't think Arch Manning is coming out. I wouldn't want Arch Manning to come out. I mean, I wouldn't want him to come out. I wouldn't do it. Like, the way that he's been playing, but maybe, but that's the thing. Like, if the Saints end up being a top pick, that might be very intriguing. That might be very intriguing for the New Orleans Saints. They like nostalgia down here. So if let's just say, for example, if the New Orleans Saints, like, let's just say the team that ends up getting the number 1 pick is the Tennessee Titans, and the Saints get the number 2 pick in the draft. Well, that the Titans not going to draft the quarterback because they got Cam Ward. So you got, so that would be intriguing. I would wonder, will the New Orleans Saints like make that decision and was to draft Arch Manning if he was to come out? But I don't think he should. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe button if you're enjoying the show. Yeah, man, if you're enjoying the show, make sure you hit that like button. But I think, like, I honestly feel like if the New Orleans Saints got like the 2nd pick in the draft, Tennessee Titans have the 1st pick, I think that Arch Manning probably would consider like coming out of school. But I wouldn't think that would be a good idea. Let's see. We still Who Dat Nation. Hopefully next year we'll be saying what a turnaround this team has become. Yeah, I mean, I think that they putting some pieces together, man. Right, Charmaine? Can we get the best option for our offense and defense? Mickey likes picking dudes that someone knows, someone that knows someone, but should be, but should because it's 3 rounds too early. Yeah, man. I mean, look, he calling up Sean Payton asking what his advice is. Didn't Eggman go 0-6? He went 1-15. I think Rattler deserves a chance. Arch isn't a pro quarterback. He definitely doesn't look like one, at least right now. But I mean, look, this is a guy that doesn't have that much experience, and I always reserve my judgment till the facts come out. I know the hype train is always leaving the station every single time. Oh man, what happened, man? This guy's gonna be great. He's gonna be the best thing since the Tim Tebow mixed with Lamar Jackson, mixed with I don't know, man. Like, just any quarterback that you see. I mean, we ain't never seen nothing like this. Then a guy just flakes out. That I never bought the hype because I didn't see enough. I didn't see enough out of dude for me to be sitting up here talking about Arch Manning gonna be the number 1 pick. That was hype. And that I hope everybody learned their lesson. Reserve your judgment till all of the facts come out. Don't be buying into all this stuff that them boys be talking about, the Paul Feinbaums of the world. Like, do your own research. I tell people, don't listen to me. Go do your own research. Don't just take my word for it. Like, you might come away with a different viewpoint. Might be something I miss. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, like, I might mess up a name or stat and somebody in the chat like, man, TJ, his name is actually this. His stats actually this. Like, don't take, everybody have their opinions, but make sure that you able to formulate your own by doing as much research as possible. TJ, I wonder if the Saints see Rattler as their guy and Kellen doesn't. If he wasn't their guy, then Kellen Moore wouldn't have him out there. I think he believes in Spencer Rattler. I think he does. I think at the beginning, they probably didn't. But credit to Kellen Moore, because this could have been one of those decisions where, Spencer Rattler probably was better than Tyler Shough, and he still would have used Tyler Shough just because he drafted the guy. So that's why I have respect for Kellen Moore. Like, there are some things that he needs to clean up as a coach, trust and believe. But that's one thing that I do respect. Like, he's not worried about optics. He's worried about who can give the team the best chance to win on a week-to-week basis. And, he's also getting scrutiny because everybody's like, man, why would you waste a 2nd-round pick for a guy on the bench? So I got respect for the guy because he could have easily just threw Shough out there knowing that he wasn't ready and really had a fan base sad and feel like they ain't got no hope. If TJ is wrong, he'll be the first to admit it. Us old timers know this. Yeah, man. Look, I put my thoughts and views out there. If I'm wrong, man, I'm gonna come back with it. I don't care about the team, player, etc. If you prove me wrong, I'm gonna come through and say it. And finally says we should go all in on defense in 2027. Go offense. Nah, man. Honestly, I think that you need to get a balance, man. Like the Saints salary cap situation should be better next offseason. And they also should be able to get some top quality picks on both sides of the football. Like if you picking in the top 5, that means you're gonna get 2 top 40 NFL picks. Right? I mean, so you can actually build something around it. Like this can be a situation where you have yourself a franchise guy at quarterback like CJ Stroud, despite the fact that he's playing. I still believe in the guy. And you can have a defensive guy that's your anchor on in like Will Anderson. Like you can actually have that. The Saints have a chance to do that, man. TJ, that AI picture was hilarious. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. There was just little stuff that I was actually working on, man. I just try to bring a little entertainment to the show. I just try to bring a little bit of entertainment to the show. So, man, ain't much to talk about when it comes to the Saints. So, same old song and dance seems like every single week. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Hope everybody had a good time on this edition. A little bit different. It was just rapid fire. Anything goes. Hopefully, I answered as many questions that you may had about the team. If I didn't answer your question, I apologize. You can always feel free to put it in next episode. We're going to be talking about the Saints as they travel up to Soldier Field, take on the Chicago Bears in a Week 7 matchup. Can the New Orleans Saints get their second win of the season? We'll be talking about what are the keys to victory, players that are going to be available, and some of the things that could possibly be, I guess, an issue for the New Orleans Saints to prohibit them from finding success. All right, so make sure that y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Make sure you check out the episode of the NFC South Roundtable. Make sure also you check out the Bleacher Report daily Saints videos that I put out. I do it every single day, so make sure you check that out. We also go live after every game for the New Orleans Saints. So wall-to-wall coverage here pertaining to the New Orleans Saints and also other channels. Shouts out to everyone that's subscribed to the State of the NFL channel that we have. We talk NFL football all the while watching live stream watch-alongs. That is been going really well. If you want to hear me do some play-by-play, make sure that you slide on over. I would really appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, youtube.com. Search the State of the NFL. Thank you so much for the 199. Says your Rattler is the guy. And also we got Squid Kid with the 199. Thank you so much. I appreciate that as well. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And until next time, all I got to say is, who dat?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I got to say is, who dat?